What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about some NFL news that kind of got dropped over the past week about Caleb Williams, the first overall pick, and the Bears. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, as it does help out the channel a ton, and enjoy the video. So if people haven't obviously been paying attention, or you don't watch college football, or just generalize your casual fan or whatever, we all know Caleb Williams is most likely going to be the number one overall pick. It's been that for a year and a half since Caleb Williams, his sophomore year when he won the Heisman in college football. He has that Patrick Mahomes type of style, that gunslinging, can make any throw on the field, can run around, use his legs. He has that style that is looked at in the NFL at a different level right now due to Patrick Mahomes. So we've had this saga over the past year, and a lot of people think Caleb Williams is a generational talent. He has all the talent in the world. I don't think anyone would deny that. Obviously, I think he's just not going to go into the league and just be a top 3 quarterback. I don't think that should be our expectation. But our expectation for Caleb Williams should be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL in a few years, because he has the traits to do it. I probably watch a lot more college football than I do NFL, and I watch both a lot. I watch kind of all different types of football. But what I tell you about Caleb Williams in college football is he's a playmaker. He knows when he needs to make a play. And there's been some stuff, like a lot of people don't know the situation with USC. They weren't able to figure out to get a good defense. A lot of the problems wasn't necessarily offensively. So his record in college football, especially this last year, it wasn't great. There's no denying that Caleb Williams is a hell of a player. But what we heard about this past week is that Caleb Williams' camp does not want to be selected by the Chicago Bears. Now, the question I have, why does Caleb Williams' camp, or Caleb Williams, whoever, feel this type of way to not be able to be selected by the Chicago Bears? My only theory to this is they've seen how Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields hasn't had an ideal start. Like, their quarterback history is not great in Chicago. Like, Jay Cutler may be their best quarterback in their franchise. Statistically, I know he's up there. So that's why I think Caleb Williams may feel that way. But Chicago is a destination I don't know if I want Caleb to go to, because I don't know how much he thrives in that situation. Maybe he thrives really well, but Chicago just has been a place that has killed quarterbacks at times. They drafted a lot of high quarterbacks, and it just never really worked out. And I don't think that will be a situation if they do draft Caleb. I think they will figure it out. But their front office is going to have to figure out to put a team together for Caleb, because you can't just put together a team. I mean, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have the success that he has, and he wasn't the first overall pick, but he doesn't have the success that he has if he doesn't have the weapons around him and the coach. Patrick Mahomes is a generational quarterback. He's rising the ranks, I feel like, every single week of the all-time great quarterbacks, potentially getting his 3rd Super Bowl literally this week. When you have all that in consideration, people don't talk about that the Chiefs, Andy Reid, they put together a great team, developed good talent, and drafted really well to make Mahomes this player too. And it's not just, obviously then Patrick Mahomes is an incredible talent, but it takes a collective effort. And I hope and pray that Chicago can do that. I do have my concerns, though. Adam Schefter went on to Pat McAfee's show, and he talked about how, the situation with Caleb Williams, how he doesn't want to be the first overall pick.
How much of that ties into this entire decision, you think?
Well, I think the Commanders make the decision to go get Cliff on its own. Like, that stands on its own merits. Now, Cliff happens to be tied to Caleb, and now you have to wonder if any calls are going to be made. Here's the issue. There are a few issues with this. Number one, are the Bears going to be willing to move on from taking Caleb Williams, which I believe seems to be the widespread consensus across the league, that Caleb Williams will be the number 1 pick? And if they are willing to move on to him, then you have to like either Drake May or Jaden Daniels enough, or Justin Fields. But again, the feeling around the league continues to be that they'll wind up trading Justin. Whether they do or not, we'll see, but that seems to be the feeling.
And Adam Schefter basically said, hey, we expect the Bears to pick Caleb Williams regardless and trade Justin Fields. And I don't think he said trade Justin Fields part, but let's be honest, we all assume that they will trade Justin Fields if they pick Caleb Williams. I mean, why would you not? And I don't know what the trade package is. There's some good destinations. I still think Justin Fields can have a good NFL career, be a top quarterback in this league. I still think he has it. I'm a Justin Fields believer. But I understand going and picking Caleb Williams because there is that, thought of that he's a generational talent. It makes sense. But, Caleb Williams doesn't appear to want to go to Chicago. Chicago's a great city. I'll tell Caleb that. I've been there a few times. But, it's something that I think he's concerned franchise-wise. But I don't think Caleb's going to have a chance or a choice to really make this a different thing, because I think he's going first overall. That's what Adam Schefter said regardless. So the question that I would ask is, how is this going to work out? If Caleb Williams doesn't want to go to Chicago, but Chicago wants to draft him first overall, guess what? He's going to go to Chicago for the first overall pick. That's what's going to happen. I think that will happen, but I will say this. There's a chance that Chicago could trade that pick. I heard the Commanders are really interested, and they've had talks, and there's a bunch of different teams that have been not necessarily in talks or whatever, but we could see them being intrigued. Obviously, a lot of teams will be intrigued by Caleb Williams and moving up to take him first overall. But I don't know the trade package that would be to get the first overall pick, because I tell you what, it would be an incredible haul. I'm not saying, Caleb Williams is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, but this guy is a really big prospect name. Everyone knows, if you're an NFL football fan, Caleb Williams is in this draft class. So, that I feel like his name holds so much that he's going to get a good package if, let's say, it is traded. So you have to throw in a lot. And I don't know, a team that is trying to rebuild to, throw away their assets like that. That's a really tough thing to ask when you're trying to rebuild, because I believe the Commanders would be a nice spot for him. I agree. They hired Cliff Kingsbury, which he was at USC with Lincoln Riley and Caleb, and he was kind of like their analyst, but they hired him as an offensive coordinator. Dan Quinn is the, defensive coordinator, head coach guy. He's going to do a great job, I feel like, there. And, maybe that's a destination. I think if there was a destination, I want to go to Washington, because if you look at Washington's, weapons, they have some great weapons. They have Dotson, they have McLaurin, they have some good running back play in Robertson. They're a really good football team on roster, and, if they could get that quarterback position, which they haven't figured out in a long time, to be fair, maybe Washington can do something. And I think they could if they got Caleb Williams, but it's going to be a lot, man. You're going to have to give up a lot. We'll see what happens. And my take on all of it, I think Caleb should just go and trust in where he gets drafted. And I know it may be tough because you may not get the fear of, Chicago or these places not building around you, but every team in the lottery is a rebuilding team. So you have to give them a chance, because any one of these teams cannot build the correct team around you. So that's the concern. I get it, but you just got to go with the draft. And wherever you get selected, you got to go put on the helmet on and go ball out, because I think he's a terrific quarterback, and he's going to be a hell of one for a long time in NFL, wherever he goes. That'll do it for me. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Peace.